Hi guys, welcome to Vamos Pokemon TCG. Your resident Festival League player here. So to continue on the series, if you have watched the last video, we've started on our journey to bring Festival League to the moon. That means we're gonna play Festival League through a new account and to see how high we can bring it. Obviously we're gonna try to hit Master League, but even after hitting Master League, how far we can bring it. So yeah, so that's that. And just for some context, so I am not a super beginner player. I do have about 8 months of experience playing the Pokemon TCG. I started around December in 2025, just last year. So about 8 months playing the Pokemon TCG. I have reached Master Rank twice in the past 2 seasons, last 2 months, with a variety of different accounts. So I play different decks, sorry, variety of different decks on the same account. And yeah, so now I'm just seeing that how far we can bring Festival Lead, because I do want to bring Festival Lead as far as I can. So in this case, this is, I believe we are at, what's our elo here? 36 elo. This is, I think, our third match with Festival Lead on this account. Yep, so 36 elo. So whenever Festival League gets to go first, please take first. You have a huge advantage when going first. I think you will see in the series today. Wait, you see in the series today that we do lose. That we do lose a match, and I think the single match that we lose is because we went second. So I'm getting quite a lot of mulligans in Pokemon TCG Live, which I think it is possible because we don't have that many basic Pokemon. Actually, I mean, we do have. We have like 4 Applins, probably 3 Grookis, if I'm not wrong. Or is it 4 Grookis? Yeah, probably 3 Grookis. I have 4 Applins. I have a Seaking as well. So I do have a decent number of basic Pokemon. I don't understand why I'm mulliganing so much in Pokemon TCG Live, but it is what it is. So you can see we get a decent start. So in the start here, we managed to get this start wasn't the best, but at least we have a Buddy Puffin and we top tech a Grookey. Then from there, the Buddy Puffin, we're obviously gonna get an attacker. So we got our Applin and our Grookey as well. Let me just bring up this. Okay. Wait, where's my epic pen? Yeah, so we need this. Okay, so we bring out our Applin and another Grookey. Generally speaking, I feel like starting with 2 to 3 Grookeys to evolve into Toakis seems to be the best. Usually at least 2. Then obviously, if you're playing against Dragapult, you would want one Relo or Rapska in the bench. If you're playing against other spread damage decks such as Stami, you want at least one Shaymin in the bench. And so on. Against like Slowking. So in this case, our opponent is actually going for probably like a Slowking build. But you will see that he Ultra Balls away a Dragapult, which is like pretty sus. It's like, how come I've never seen a Slowking deck that plays Dragapult? So he's playing a sort of hybrid deck, which is like a Dragapult Slowking deck, and I'll just speed this up. Yeah, because the opponent takes some time to decide. Yeah. And he finally plays a 3P, he plays another Latias as well as a Shaymin. I do not know why he places the Shaymin on board, because I think this player might be decently new to this deck. He might have cooked this deck up on his own and trying it out, but he doesn't need the Shaymin against Festival Lead, because Festival Lead doesn't do any spread damage. Instead, I mean, if you could have gotten that space for like a 3P, it would be better. So this is what he wants. He actually doesn't want the Shaymin. So he sacrifices Shaymin to the active. It's gonna let me knock it out. So he wants to protect his Monkey Dory. So he uses his Latias to retreat into it. So from our lilies, we get a pretty decent hand, but the problem is that we can't trigger Festival Lead this round because we don't have any Seaking and we don't have any Diplin. So yeah, and then here we manage to get our Diplin with our bug catching set. So I think we get our Rapska and our Diplin, because I do see Dragapult. So having that Rapska evolved is good. You will see it later in this match. Yeah, so we will need to retreat first. So we retreat, put our Diplin in front. and then evolve the Repsca. No difference, either the Repsca or the Relo both have 1 retreat cost, so I already have 1 energy attached. So we're gonna there's a mistake here. I wanted to fill up my bench, so I wanted to boom boom for a buddy Poffin, but somehow it was I just woke up or something along the lines. I wasn't thinking clearly, so I was supposed to take a buddy Poffin to take another, like an Applin and a Seaking. Then instead I brain farted and just took 1 Applin instead. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 attacks. So first attack and then second do the wave. We're gonna do 80 damage to his Monkey Dory and we're gonna take 1 price. So, well, technically, if I had a full bench, let's say I had a Buddy Puffin for 2 Pokemon here, I would have done 100 on the first hit and then 100 on the second hit, leaving his Monkey Dory with 10 damage. Still the same, it still wouldn't knock out the Monkey Dory. Okay, so he starts to do his Dragcloak shenanigans, evolve to Dragcloak, draw and draw. Yeah, so I'll just speed this up a little bit, because obviously we wouldn't know what he draws. He Pokepets for something, maybe another Dreepy or another Dragcloak. So he Pokepets for another Dragcloak, draws again, puts a Kangaskhan down. So in this case, I know the Kangaskhan is for draw, but he is playing a hybrid deck. So Dragcloak and Kangaskhan, in my opinion, putting the Kangaskhan down is a mistake, because he already has decent draw engine with his Dragcloaks. By putting his Kangaskhan in play, he gives me a 3 price liability for me to knock it out. So now my price map is pretty simple. I have 5 price, right? So I just need to knock out maybe a Monkey, a Slowbro, or Monkey or Dragcloak, as well as the Kangaskhan for 5 prizes. Or either I could knock out the Kangaskhan or knock out the Latias EX for 5 prizes, totally ignoring the Monkey Dory. So my price map becomes pretty straightforward. Yeah, I put it in the active because he knows that it's probably not gonna die. In fact, actually, I could kill it if I could get Gladions. Because if I already have Brave Bangle, I get a full bench. If I don't even need a full bench. I will need a Gladion's final battle though. Then I could knock it out in 1 turn. But the problem is that I think I need too many pieces. I will need a stadium. Because it's my turn. Yeah. So I need a stadium. I have the energy. I will need Gladion, so I would need to get Secret Box to empty my hand to get Gladions. I think do I get it? Yeah, so I'm checking my deck, whatever I have there. I don't think I can empty my hand because I still have a Lilies. Yeah. So I couldn't Gladion this turn. I couldn't Secret Box. Yeah. I think I decided against it because I have 4 cards in hand. I didn't want to discard away both of my Lilies. So I only discarded 1 with the Ultra Ball. Then I left that Lilies for me to draw 6. Yep, so I prepare another Diplin. Buckaging set failed and put in the stadium. I believe I wanted the Kirin, but my Kirin is priced. So I prepare the secret box for next turn. Yeah, I think I wanted the Kirin, but I think my Kirin is priced and I already used my Lily system, so I couldn't Kirin. Technically, I could knock him out with Kirin because I was doing 130 with the Brave Bangle for 1 hit. If I have the Kirin, I would do 160. So that will be a total of 320 damage. So technically, I would have been able to knock out the Mega Kangaskhan in this turn. But I already played Lily, so I can't play the Kirin. And I already played Lily, so I can't play the Gladion's final battle. But I'm preparing for Gladion's for the next turn. Let me just fast forward it. So he Crispins to a Dragcloak. He gets a Dark Energy, but he already has Fire and Psychic in hand. So he uses Night Stretcher to retrieve his Dragapult and brings it to the front. And you will see why Rapska is so good. He Phantom Dives and he tries to knock out my Rapska, but no. So everything on the bench is protected from effects of attack and damage. That means your Starmies are not going to hurt it. Your Dragapult Phantom Dives are not going to hurt your bench. So your bench gets fully protected. It's as if you have a battle cage. So it is a battle cage, but on a Pokemon, which is not linked to a stadium, which is pretty cool because stadiums can get bumped because we need festival grounds as our stadium in play for all the time. Now I believe I fill up my bench. I think I'm supposed to Gladion system, right? Yeah, I'm deciding whether to Gladions. So I think I took an Ultra Ball so that I could discard the Ultra Ball instead of the Grass Energy. If I remember correctly, yeah. So I attach the Grass to the Applin. And then I use Secret Box to discard the remaining 3 cards to get a Gladion. And I don't need the Stadium. So Festival Ground still in play. So I get the Air Balloon to attach to maybe one of my Tawakis. In this case, I think I made a mistake. I should have... No. Yeah, in this case, rather than getting the boss as the last item, I should have gotten a Pokepad because I needed a Diplin in case my Diplin gets knocked out. So you will see here, even though I got the boss to prepare to boss up the Kangaskhan, right? Because I didn't expect that the opponent will be able to attack again with Dragapult or even attack distant because it doesn't look like he has any energy setup. But he does. Dragapult players have everything. So he has Rosa's Encouragement to retrieve the energy. He has another Night Stretcher to retrieve his Dragapult. And he's going to knock out my active Diplin. So I'm not going to have another Diplin to do my Boom Boom Groove. And without the Boom Boom Groove, I cannot do in... Do I do enough damage? Actually, I still do. But without the Boom Boom Groove and without a Diplin, I cannot attack. So yeah, so he gets his Dragapult out and he gets his Rosa's Encouragement. So Dragapult players just have great comeback mechanics. Yeah, so he's gonna knock out my Diplin there, and I have no way to Boom Boom Groove for another Diplin. So this is why I mentioned earlier that with my last Boom Boom Groove, right before I attacked, after I played the Gladions and before I knocked out his Dragapult, I should have a Pokepad. I should have gotten a Pokepad as my last item so that I can get a Diplin setup on next turn. So it was a misplay there. Yeah, I'm highlighting that during the game as well. Holy Rapska protects. Then I put the Tawaki in the front and Holy top deck, right? This top deck is so key. I was just missing a Diplin, and out of 15 cards, maybe I have like 2 Diplins in the 15 cards, and I get Holy top deck. What are the odds, man? Yeah, because if I didn't have this, I would have probably needed to sacrifice at least 1 or 2 Tawakis. I wouldn't sacrifice a Rapska for sure, but I would have had to buy time, maybe put in a Grookey, sacrifice the Grookey, and so on. Buy time until I could top deck either a Pokepad or a Diplin, so that I can boss the Mega Kangaskhan to here and then knock out the Mega Kangaskhan. But in this case, yeah. So you wholly top deck a Diplin. So that's a super lucky top deck. So we retreat, but that's where thinning comes in. So by thinning the deck as much as possible, we do get a better chance of getting into good cards. So I just do 1 hit and knock out his Mega Kangaskhan for the win. So that's another win. And we go up to 49 ELO. So at 49 ELO, this is where you will see I get my first loss. So if you've watched my games from the last video to this video so far, you would think that, wow, my Festival Lead deck is like unbeatable, right? I keep winning at it. It's not the case. Festival Lead can break, Festival Lead can lose, even against multi-prizes, and you will see it in this game. Okay, so again, I get to mulligan. I have to mulligan, and I actually run 2 mulligans before I get a decent hand. So I put the Applin in front, Rellor, and the opponent actually got their coin toss. Opponent is going first. So when they're going first is where Festival Lead really struggles. Festival Lead really wants to go first. So you can see the Dribble in hand, you can see the Genesect EX in the active, and 2 Beldums on the board, and you know that this is the Mega Excadrill EX deck. So the Mega Excadrill EX deck is actually super strong because it attacks really fast, and it accelerates energy really fast with the Metal Maker Matangs, which if you have a Genesect EX on board, you can get the Metal Maker Matangs on evolve by turn 2. So in this case, usually these Mega X-Ray players will start with Precious Trolley, but he was lucky enough to get 2 Buddy Buddy Poffins in his hand. So it's the same as getting Precious Trolley. So I tried to get a Lily to see if I can set up my board better. It's a decent setup, but take note that I don't have any means, I don't have any Pokepad, so I don't have any means to get a Tawaki. I don't have any means to get a Diplin, so I cannot attack on the following turn. So I get a Goldeen. This is in case I get a Tawaki, and I can put the Goldeen in front to trigger the Festival Lead and to start Boom Boom Grooving. So he evolves Metal Maker Matang. I'm just gonna speed it up. Okay, so he uses Genesect, he draws more Mega Excadrills. Yep, then he starts accelerating with Metal Makers, get 3 energy, knocked out my active. Yeah, and I'm in a pretty bad spot. So I promote my Goldeen to trigger Festival Lead. I have my Air Balloons, and I have nothing. So I have nothing, I have no Pokepad, no way to get a Tawaki, no Lilies on hand, Festival Grounds is useless, no energy in hand, no Diplin. I can't do anything, I can't attack. So I just put the Rellor into the active and sacrifice it. So I'm gonna fast forward again. So the Mega Excadrill player just continues accelerating, gets his Mega Excadrills by this is turn 3, knocks out my active. Yeah, draws more support evolution Pokemon. Then we're gonna do the same again. So put my Goldeen active, draws an energy. Same thing, nothing. So I have nothing going for me. Promotes another Grookey, sacrifices it, and we go next. So as in we proceed to the next turn. So he knocks out the Grookey. I do the same thing, hope for a good top deck, and I get a Seaking. I think by this time I just concede, I think. Okay, I concede next turn, I believe. Because you will see that he continues accelerating energy. Yeah, knocks out the Grookey, and I put my Seaking in the active. I don't get an energy this time, so I can't attack with the Seaking. In hindsight, maybe I should have attached that Grass Energy to my Goldeen, so that if I evolve into a Seaking, I can at least attack to draw 4 cards. But that would sacrifice my Seaking. Seaking would be dead. But then in this case, I already sacrificed all my Draw Engine, which is my Grookies. So I have no Draw Engine. I get a Pokepad this time, but it's way too late. Even if I get another Grookey on board, no way for me to get another Tawaki, and I believe I concede the match here. Okay, so this is where Festival Lead can lose, and we will get stuck on 49 ELO. So our third match for the day, at 49 ELO, we play again. This time against a 300 MMR player, 300 ELO player. All we see that is drawing a Psychic coin. And we win our coin toss. Always choose tails on Pokemon TCG Live because it's there's always a higher chance to get tails than hits for whatever reason. That's how the engine was coded. Okay, and we see it's a Piggy Pack. So it's some kind of Piggy Pack Toucannon deck, which is relatively strong. One price deck, similar strength levels to Festival Lead. Then I Secret Box on turn 1, Secret Box away one of my Gladions because I want to get a better setup. So I want to get a Lilies, for it to use on the next turn. And I wanted to get Buddy Buddy Puffin on turn 1 so that I could get a Gladion, a Grookey. In hindsight, maybe I should have gotten an Applin instead of a Grookey, but I think it's fine. Here I attach an air balloon to the first Grookey so that I can retreat it later, and we will have a Lily's Determination for play in turn 2. Okay, so I'm fast forward a bit. So Buddy Buddy Puffins. He plays Hilda. You can see that there's an Abra. So this is actually an Alakazam Toucannon hybrid deck, which is not too bad because the Toucannon line actually solves some of the issues of Alakazams where when they're going against like Team Rocket's Articuno, they can't do damage with Alakazam because of the effect of attack. When they're going against things like hide and sneak decks because they prevent effects of attacks onto the Pokemon, so they can't do damage. So the Toucannon is a direct damage attacker, so it doesn't do effects of attacks, so it covers that weakness of the Alakazam decks. And we play Lilies, we get our board pretty set up, so a pretty good draw on Lilies here. So we can get our first Tawaki set up, so we can put the Gladion in the active, can start to do one Boom Groove. Fortunate enough to get 2 energies back. Okay. So in this case, I think I was planning to get a Seeking for the attack. Yeah, so I was looking through my hand, and I think I'm going to tin out a Pokepad for a Seeking, if I'm not wrong. So Pokepads, once you're past the like turn 1 to turn 2, once you get at least one Tawaki setup, your Pokepads are kind of useless. So I usually take Pokepads, I tin out the Pokepads, I use the Pokepads to draw my required Pokemons so that I tin them out, use them away so that I don't need the Pokepads anymore in the main deck. Okay, so I involve in the Seeking, and we'll do like Rapid Draw twice to draw 4. So in this case, I cannot use Gladion. So you can see my hand size is quite big. So it's pretty hard to get the hand size down to 0 from this stage. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards in my hand. So pretty hard to discard all 11 cards because the secret box only discards 3, and I can get an Ultra Ball to discard another 2. So maximum I can discard is like 5. So I cannot discard all 11 cards. So Gladions is out of question. But you can see that the Abra player is kind of, the Alakazam player is kind of in a bad spot. So he benches a Psyduck, which is pretty bad for him. Benches another, uses Night Stretcher very early. Be prepared, but at least he gets Telepathic Energy to set out his board. Yep, so he doesn't get Rare Candy Alakazam, so he doesn't do significant damage this turn. If you Rare Candy Alakazam, you can at least knock out my Seeking, but I still have an answer in my Diplin in hand for next turn. So he's in a really bad spot. So I have to do evolve my Diplins, power up my Diplins, get Buddy Buddy Puffins, fill up my bench. I believe I got another Applin. Yeah. So I got another backup attacker there. So Bakaji says, lucky enough to get me another Diplin and energy. I have more than enough energy. So let's power our Diplins and we can start knocking out his Kadabras. Yeah, so here I just need the Stadium because I believe he plays Battle Cage. Yeah, so one Battle Cage down. So I will need the Festival Grounds to replace the Stadium. Yeah, manual retreat into a Diplin. Yep, this time I get a Pokepad for another Diplin first, so that I'm set up for next turn, because I do know Alakazam decks don't do any disruption. Maybe they do play special red card, but it's not triggered yet because I'm not down to 3 price yet. But they definitely don't play judges because they don't want to to reduce their own hand size. So I knock out two, a Kadabra, as well as he promoted a side up for me to knock out. So it's really bad for the Alakazam player because price raise wise, I'm 3 to 6. So you can see that I have 3 prize on my left, and he has 6 prizes on his left. So yeah, so in any kind of one price matchup, it's always a price race to see who gets to 6 prizes first. And he benches a huge liability in the Fest, which is a 2 price liability, because he wanted to draw more, but that just accelerates my conditions of winning. Then his Trumbeak, he couldn't get Toucannon in time, so he has Trumbeak. We're just gonna knock it out. No, actually I decided to, I think, knock out his Fez, if I'm not wrong. Because I think I did check his stadium count. I believe he already played 3 battle cages, so I'm gambling on the fact that he only plays up to 3 battle cages and no 4th stadium. So this is my last festival grounds because I only run 3. I get a boss for the following turn. Yeah, I believe I boss the Fest to knock out the Fest. Oh no, wait, I knock out the Abra. Huh. Oh, I wanted to knock out the Fest on the final turn. Okay. Yeah, because I know he will bring his Fest forward to tank a second hit, so that it doesn't go down one price, but not much of a difference. So it's gonna knock out my Diplin here, but I already have a backup attacker there. So even without Festival Grounds, I should be able to take this knockout because I will do 130 damage with a full bench on my backup Diplin on the bench. Because this will, yeah, so this will do 130 damage with the Brave Bangle attached. Okay, so he manually retreats his Fest, uses Toucannon. I think there's a visual bug here where it shows 290 damage, where he only did 260 damage. So he has a full bench. So what Toucannon does is it gives you 20 extra damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent. So since there's 10 bench Pokemon, he adds 200 damage to his Feather Rondo, so he does 260. But I think there's a visual bug where you see 290? Okay, 290 total damage, yeah. 290, because it's 30 existing damage on my Diplin. Okay, speed up a little bit. Yeah, so 290 total damage. He does 260 to my Diplin, overkilling it. But we have game, so we just... Yeah, I was just double checking the numbers because I thought I saw 290 damage, but it was correct. It was 260 damage. Yeah, so 260 damage. That's verified here. So I'm just going to boss the Fest, knock it out for my last 2 prizes. And we win this game. And we are up to, what's our elo now? Plus 10. So I believe we're at 59 elo. All right. And that's the 3 matches for today. So we'll see you guys in the next one.